are
Hello.
you?
I'm great. It's a Sunday evening.
It is. We were just discussing how we weren't I was like, I'm not on brand for this episode, but I wore my Gilmore Girls shirt because I'm trying to will it to be fall.
I
So,
saw that. I will say, I'm also trying very hard to will it to be fall. That's so cute. I love that shirt. But I keep getting spammed in Instagram by this is what fall is going to look like in Colorado in a few weeks. And I was like, no. This Texan who's looking at 105 degrees for the next month is very displeased. And I'm really mad. Stop rage baiting me. Instagram, it's
well,
really rude.
well, to be fair, it's probably inaccurate because were in a severe drought this year. So I doubt that we will have the color that we normally have. So, anyways, I don't know if that's helpful. Fires. We
All
had fires.
I know, and that's really terrible. You had color you didn't want. Not to minimize, because wildfires are awful. Now, according to the forecast, El Nino is so particularly weird this year that Texas is supposed to have an unusually cold and wet winter. And I was like, do it! I dare you to.
I love this for you.
I love
I
this
would
for me too.
I hope we get some of that. I would love a lot of snow this year. Because I just feel like we didn't get enough last year, which is why we had fires.
Hey, I would love snow. It's too humid where I live, so I mostly get ice.
Yes. Yes, I
And
know.
yeah. And
I grew up there.
I don't want the ice. I would love snow, but we most likely will get ice. But I would love just like cold, rainy days.
I mean,
Like
I'm here for that.
if
Hoa
it's if
hoa season.
oh my gosh, if we could pretend to be the Pacific Northwest, I would be a happy person.
Maybe we don't pretend. Maybe we manifest moving there. I'm just saying. It could be
Uh,
lovely.
it's on the list. I mean, listen,
We
do
do
I
need to
browse
do
Zillow and save homes? Yes, I do.
we do need to do our Twilight tour. So,
I know.
support the podcast so we can go on a Twilight tour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are you reading?
I just finished because I did have a weird night where I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. So I
Oh, I hate
finished.
those.
Well, that's okay. I finished this book that I was very anxious to finish, which is The Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. And it was amazing. I was so
So
happy.
excited. I'm so
Um,
excited to hear that because it's been on my list forever and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. So it's gonna be part of my fall lineup.
and it will make you want fall. I will say that because I started it a year ago and couldn't like quite get into it. I just don't think my headspace was not there. And then I started it again and it was just like magic from the beginning. It was like very similar to like the Book of Doors, which I've talked about here, where it's just like
Yes.
immediately you like feel the sparkles and you're like,
Mm.
oh, okay. And it was just cozy, but also like had enough drama you're interested in, like surprising drama and everything tied up nicely. It was just a really nice, like great book that made me feel
Cool.
put me in my feels, but also made me feel really good.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. So I finished
Cool.
that. And tonight I'll be starting Practical Magic when I go to bed. So
Yay. Yeah, that's also what I'm reading. Practical Magic is I'm like, what month? I had to look up at the date
it
because this
doesn't
is
help
how
that I
tired.
just like talked about all our book club picks for the rest of the
It's
year a
it's
minute ago.
August. It's our August book club book, Practical Magic. So I am also reading it right now. And it's interesting because I have seen the first movie.
Mhm.
So I always feel weird when I've seen a movie and then I read a book because, like, especially when they take so much from the source material. And it was really interesting. I'm only like halfway through the first chapter. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very far. But I'm like, oh yeah, this is like the movie. So it's been enjoyable. I'm really gonna dive into it more. But I also am at the same time tandem reading Dead Romantics because I started that on my Kindle and then misplaced my Kindle for a whole day and couldn't find it. So I picked up Practical Magic because I was like, well, I don't know where my Kindle is. So I'm just gonna read Practical Magic. So now I'm reading two books at once, which is the worst. But I think I'm going to try and finish Dead Romantics first and then really dive into Practical Magic this week. But loving Dead Romantics. It's by Ashley Poston. We read The 7-Year Slip by her, and this was one you said you should read. I love the premise. I'm not very far in it, but loving it, loving the premise. I love the main character. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Excited for you. I may have to go do Dead Romantics after Practical Magic, but I also have like 4 other books on my list to read right now, so I don't know.
The TBR is TBRing.
It really is. And then I'm like, well, it's not like necessary, but I feel like I owe it to myself to stick to my what I said I would read.
Right? I know. I feel that deeply because I have like I've put books in my like Kindle, like I download them onto my Kindle so I'll read them and they're just
Mhm.
like sitting there looking at me and I'm like, I see you. I see you,
Same.
book waiting for me. I did just read I don't remember if I talked about this in the last episode, but I did just read a really great book by Abby Jimenez, which it might be one of my favorite ones. And now that we're talking about it on the podcast, I can't remember the name, but it's the playlist one. And it's like the only one you can't get on Kindle Unlimited, I swear. So we bought it at the bookstore and I absolutely loved it. It, like I said, I thought it was one of the best ones, the Happy Ever After playlist. So I did finish that recently. So highly recommend. But I've become such a huge Abby Jimenez fan. So I have another one of her books on my list. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
See, I read one of her books a couple of years ago, and I just haven't returned to her as an author. And it wasn't that I disliked the book. I think I just went a different direction. So I need to return to Abby Jimenez at some point and like read some more of her books.
I find that they're really well-paced reads. Like once you start it, you're
Yeah.
like, I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna put this down. So I can usually knock out one of her books in 2 days. And they're not super short. That just tells you how invested I get into the stories. I'm like, well, I gotta find out what happens. I can't go to sleep until I know what happens.
Right.
But yeah, I highly recommend like I know I've talked before on this podcast like about the Part of Your World series and
Mhm.
then a couple others I read, but yeah, the Happy Ever After playlist. Add it to your list. That's good.
We'll have to add it to my list, my ever-growing list, and off camera stacks and stacks of books.
Well, I had to rearrange my whole library to make room
Well,
for the books that we're buying. So
I'm at the point I need to buy more
a
shelves.
shelf. I was like to say, you need more shelves. Next
The
time
book
I'm in
carts are
town,
overflowing, the boxes are overflowing, the shelves are overflowing. Where do they go? They just sit in piles.
we should build you a library. We should do like I always see on the book talk people buying those like inexpensive shelves from IKEA and then
Mhm.
decking them out and I'm like, I want to do that, but I have these, so I can't do that. My husband built these and he's amazing. So,
Shout out to my friend Tia because she's been doing that, and she's been working on it a while. But I got an update picture recently, and I was like, "You're doing amazing. That's envious."
I
Like,
love seeing pictures of people's libraries and how they are housing their books in their houses and apartments. I am consistently amazed and upset that I don't have that same aesthetic, but we're working on it. We're in progress. See, we've got, books
little
and Legos and this is the borrowed books right here. We have a borrowed section. My daughter's going to make some signs on her 3D printer eventually to label those different sections. So we've got plans. We're working on it. We're getting there. One day it'll be really aesthetically pleasing.
it takes time and it's a curation. So like, just savor it. Let it be what
It's
it
the
is.
it's the ambitious library. Which brings me to something that we wanted to talk about today, which is that we have a new home for Bookish Ambitions. I'm super excited about it. So we have moved to Substack. And the reason why is because there were some features I wanted to incorporate. This was really something that I pushed for because I have been on Substack before and absolutely loved it and just was not feeling the vibes where we were. So we've moved over there. Go find us. It's just bookishambitions.substack.com. I'll put the link in the show notes as well, of course. But that is where everything will live from here on out. There's a lovely chat. That's where our book club will live. And the cool part about it is we will be posting more over there. So we've already posted a couple articles outside of the podcast episode. So definitely go check it out. Follow us, subscribe, come be a part of
Yeah.
it.
Yes, please. Because I think you worded it really nice on our Substack about how we want to build a community and like we really want to engage. And that is where it feels like Substack's going to allow that engagement very
Yeah.
seamlessly and easily. And so, yes, we very much would love for y'all to come join us because we know we're not the only two with opinions about these books. So we'd love to hear
Right.
y'all's too.
I know. Come comment, post, chat, hang out. We'd love to have you. So, yeah.
Hey.
Okay. We are talking about something that we've talked about it before, but
Very much like high level though, and like, what you reading?
yeah.
In
Yeah.
one of our very early episodes.
Yes, and I think we talked about it a little bit. Well, anyways, I have so many thoughts. But what's interesting is there has been a surge of conversation around this lately on the interwebs, and so we wanted to talk more about it in depth. So I am super excited about today's topic. We are digging into Seeking Persephone, and as always, Catherine is gonna lead us through the formalities here.
Woo! Oh gosh. Now I'm like, oh no, it's Sunday evening. Can I read? I don't know. Great question. No,
I
I can't.
believe in you. I believe in you.
I will give it an ambitious go. Okay, so Seeking Persephone by Sarah M. Eden. It takes place in 1805, Regency, England. Impoverished eldest daughter Persephone Lancaster marries Adam Boyce, the reclusive, physically and emotionally scarred Duke of Kildare. In a wow, that's a triple whammy right there. In a marriage of convenience, she agrees to the match to save her family from financial ruin, moving to his cold, remote estate. Loosely based on the and Persephone myth, the slow burn story follows Persephone's gentle persistence as she tries to crack Adam's emotional armor, leading to mutual understanding and romance when real danger forces Adam to risk his vulnerability. So some core story themes. It's, a marriage of convenience, very much so. That trope, forced proximity. She marries him strictly for her family's security and her siblings because she has five siblings, six siblings. How many siblings?
I've only seen the show, so
Three
I
girls,
don't.
two boys. Okay, so she has five
Yes,
siblings,
3 girls, 2
which
boys,
is
yes.
total. The dynamic, like it is Hades and Persephone retelling, but also it's very Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, I got that vibe for sure.
Because did you know that like in Beauty and the Beast, the Disney one, his name is Adam? Did you know that was the name of the prince?
Yes, I did know that was his name.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent.
Which is not a very French name. I'm just saying.
It's not, but I just don't feel like it's very common knowledge. Like everybody just calls him Beast, okay?
No, his name is Adam. Yeah.
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 Anyway, it is an emotional slow burn, and the
So
whole journey
slow.
it is slow. Persephone's gentle persistence breaks down the Duke's emotional walls until grave peril forces him to risk his heart to protect her. So this is book one of the Lancaster family series. So there are how many books do I have listed here? 1, 2,
1,
3,
2,
4,
3.
5, 6.
I like how we had to count them out loud. Also, like,
And the evening
I
guide.
love I love the names of the children, by the way. So I love, like, we've got Seeking Persephone, courting Miss Lancaster, romancing Daphne. Oh, there's a loving Lieutenant Lancaster. Interesting. And then charming Artemis,
Yes, because they all have Greek names.
who's like 4 in Seeking Persephone BT
Yeah,
dubs.
so it must be really like further ahead. But I know we've talked Regency romance before and like how 15 is acceptable to be out in society, which feels
Yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah.
But like, you know, well, because it's like weird even in this story, right? Her brother is like in the Navy, he's 13 years old and he signed up when he was 11.
I know, it's crazy, but they used to do that. They used to do that,
Yeah.
especially when they were trying to raise their social status.
Mhm.
That was a thing. This same
Right.
theme of like the Navy and raising your social status is also in Persuasion by Jane Austen. The main character goes into the Navy to better himself, as it were,
Mhm.
and he does a really good job of it. So interesting. Yeah, love all the crossover there. I feel like I've know Regency era so much better because we've talked Jane Austen and we've talked Bridgerton, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, a little bit of an expert now. So that's good.
We love an armchair expert.
Oh man.
So, SarahMEden, she's a screenwriter and a USA Today bestselling author with more than 80 witty and charming historical novels, which have
I'm
sold over
sorry. How many did
1
you
million
say?
copies worldwide. Over 80.
Which is hilarious 'cause I've never read any of her novels. So now I feel like I need to go check them out.
Well, we're in luck because I did read this one today. And I'm almost done with the second one in the Lancaster family. And then I also recently downloaded another one of hers because she has, what is it called? It's like the sheriffs or something.
Oh
Anyway, it's
God.
Western. It's like a Western romance. Okay. And I watched that
Oh,
movie because it has the same lead actress who's in Seeking Persephone. She's also the lead actress in like this movie. And I was like, what?
wait,
What is this?
wait, I'm sorry, hold on. There's a Western movie? Where are we watching this?
I rented it through Apple TV.
Okay. Well, you will be sending me that link afterwards, or the name of it anyways, so I can
Excellent. I
check out.
actually, it really actually satisfied the Texan in me. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
I say, ugh. I struggle with Western romances. I have a friend who writes them, and they're beautiful books, and I love her, and she does amazing. I've talked about her, Amanda, on the show before. And I read her first book, and it's just, I have a hard time getting into it. I did read Once Upon a Time, a series that was like about people in Wyoming, but there were native people, and I liked it.
Cool.
And it was, yeah, it was better than, but yeah, it's just not a genre I dip my toe into very often. So same with Regency. I feel like that feels very like 1984 to me. You know what I mean? Like those, what do they call them, those mass produced romance novels, that were like in the
Mhm.
smaller
In the grocery
size.
stores. Yeah.
Yeah, I always think of those when I think of Regency romances. So maybe I need to get back into it. So I'll have to check it out.
Well, I will say the Seeking Persephone is very like charming. It's very clean. It's really good, quick to read, even though it's long. It's just not like a Jane Austen romance where it is so tedious to read because of the word count. Like you're just entertained and it's just very quick, like not a hard read. You're going to be entertained the entire time. The drama feels a little over the top, but not so over the top that you're like, this is ridiculous,
Yeah, yeah.
And I think she does a good job of like giving the emotional background of her characters without, I think, doing too much exposition, or them, even if their tropes are tropes we've seen before, they don't feel overdone.
What's
So,
the what's the spice level in these?
oh, G.
Oh, okay.
They're clean. They're very clean.
Well, to be fair, I mean, in Seeking Persephone, they don't really do much of anything anyways. So,
No, because they're both very emotionally guarded people. And so, just a fun fact also about SarahMEden is like you can see her in the TV series sitting next to the Dowager Duchess and Artemis in the wedding scene, which I
okay,
was
I'll
like,
have to go back
oh,
and
that's
look at that.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, I will say, as we dive into the TV miniseries, I was a huge fan of this. I like bought it on Amazon Prime before it was
same,
available to watch anywhere. I've probably seen it 4 times now.
same.
It's like it's gonna become one of those like rainy day rotation
Yes.
ones. Like same with like the Emma. For me, it's like the Emma TV series with
Mhm.
Johnny Lee Miller. Like there's just ones that I will just put on, and I can have them on because no spice. So I can watch it with my children in the room. Although they do get scared towards my little one doesn't like the last episode, I think it is. Second to
Oh,
last
that's
episode.
fair. Yeah.
Last
What's
episode,
like,
yeah. Yeah, yeah. But I am really excited. And the reason why we're talking about it today is because they did announce that they have renewed it for season 2 and season 3. You guys, this is huge. And the reason why this is so huge is because the first season was literally crowdfunded.
yeah, I think this is why we definitely want to talk about it. And it not only is it like entertaining to watch, but the fact like it was an ambitious project, right? And we're all about
Yes.
ambitious projects. And so
Yeah.
that's why I think we were like, yeah, let's talk about the series because let's give it some love. Because first of all, it does seem like it is getting a lot of love because it is something that's so easy to watch, but the story is so relatable. The characters are really great. Even though you can kind of tell it's not the most high budget thing, it feels
Yes.
epic in scope still.
Right.
So without being cheesy, like how a Hallmark movie like immediately kind of has that cheese. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some cheese, but that's the content.
Yeah, it's definitely like to me, I felt it was very much on the level of like Hallmark, but like with a little more, with better acting, maybe.
Agreed. Agree. I think that's it.
Like,
I think it's
it
like
was
the
like just
actors
a
maybe committed it
yeah.
to it a bit more than like the Hallmark level stuff that I don't know how to describe, but you immediately can know what a Hallmark movie is when you see it,
Yeah.
you know?
Fun fact, the dad, Persephone's dad in the TV show is one of my favorite Hallmark actors. He has been seen in some of my favorite Hallmark movies, including the one where the girl, which is played by that one Hallmark actress who's in every movie, goes to like some foreign country to work in a chocolate shop and they win a chocolate competition together. It's like our favorite one. My kids and I love it. Yes, my daughters like to watch Hallmark movies with me. And it was the dad. So when we were watching this show, all of us were like, wait, who is that guy? So it was really funny to see him. It was fun to see him in that, you know.
Well, excellent. Because, like, no, don't get me wrong. There's definitely Hallmark-esque-ness to this, which I also
Yeah.
think makes it so appealing, right? Because when I was traveling for work all the time, I'd always just put on the Hallmark channel, like in a hotel room, because I knew I was
Yeah.
like, I don't have to think about it. I can just completely relax to this.
Exactly. It's just a fun watch, you know? And like where like Bridgerton, you watch it because you want to see the spice and you want to see that level of romantic tension. Like I said, sometimes you just want to put something on that feels
Yeah.
good, that's got good acting. And yeah, and I follow the actress who plays Persephone on TikTok or Instagram somewhere because she's adorable because she's a hardworking actress. She's not, you know, this project I don't think made her a ton of money. And so that's another reason why I'm so excited it got renewed because I think this very much was a passion project and to see it, you know, expanding the universe a little bit is very exciting. Also, I loved the actress who played the sister. And that's the second book, right? Is the older, the second to oldest
Yes.
sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Courting Miss Lancaster. Yes. She is in that book, because I'm almost done with it. She is seeking her suitor. Like, she's ready to be married.
Yes.
Because they haven't been out in society because they've been so impoverished. And so that's the whole season is like about her. And Harry is kind of serving as her like chaperone and
Oh
like,
my
let me
God.
help you. But he's
Yes, please.
desperately in love with her because he fell in love with her this first time he saw her when they
At the
at the
wedding.
wedding.
Yes. And
So
they put that scene in the show. They made sure
yeah.
they showed him glancing at her and he got this little smile on his face because I think he thought she was adorable with her sisters. And
He's
yeah, I'm so excited. Okay. I did not
let's
know this until you put this in the notes. That so you put in total filming days 20, which is
yeah.
insane. And I have something I want to say about this. You did say that the location was split between Utah and on location shoots in England. This is crazy. You said there was a 1 year delay occurred between the Utah shoot and the England shoot due to crowdfunding and fundraising logistics. That's crazy. The first thing I thought of when I was reading over your notes was Heated Rivalry and how Heated Rivalry was filmed on a low budget over a short period of time. And you and I talked about at that time, we were like, this is such a good example to Hollywood because, you know, there's such, it seems like it takes so long to get anything out, right? It takes so
Yeah.
long to film. It takes so, like, you know, I'm thinking about like Off Campus, which they are filming June through September.
Bridgerton. We've had 2 year
Bridgerton
gaps between every Bridgerton
takes
season.
forever. Yeah. And then you see examples of how this can be done and how it can work and how amazing stories can be created with lower budgets. We don't always need huge budget to create something amazing. So I just thought that was fascinating and I'm excited to see how they do the next two seasons now that they are going to be funded, I'm assuming by backed by somebody else if we're going to get that same, you know, speed or what, you know?
My assumption is if because it was renewed, like, and it got picked up by I'm assuming a bigger network, though I'm unsure who it is, like, those scenes are gonna have to be much bigger, right? Like, it worked, so I linked an article in here from KSLW because the main filmmaker, director who was in charge of adapting this, he lives in Utah, and this was, like, a Utah project. He talks about how the reason he kind of picked Seeking Persephone, he was looking to do a Regency romance. He found this book, he read it, and then he was like, well, I can do this one because of kind of the lack of like big ballroom scenes, because I don't need like, it was secluded in this castle and things like that. And that's what made it really work for him to be able to do it, was because the story was so isolated from the ton. So
Yeah.
since they're going to be in it next season, I feel like we are going to see a bigger level of production than we did in this one. However, I think the cast and things like that, because of this being such a passion project, I think that passion will exist, and only having a bigger budget will make it grow in a really nice way, is my hope. Fingers crossed.
I'm seeing it says that it's still being produced by the original independent team at Mainstay Productions,
Nice.
and that they will still be in partnership with Angel Studios for distribution.
Perfect.
Which now, it's interesting because I've talked a couple of times about passion flicks on the podcast. Because season 2 of the Black Dagger Brotherhood is coming out on Passion Flix. I need to like contact them and be like, hey, sponsor us, because I talk about you all the time. They actually now have Seeking Persephone on Passion Flix. So I think it's interesting because, it started out, you could only buy it on Amazon Prime. And I
Right.
think you said it was somewhere else as well now.
It's now on Peacock. You can watch it on Peacock. Yes, that's where the latest place I saw it. I was like, okay. And I saw it through Apple TV. So I think there's multiple places now you can kind of watch it, which is great. I love that for them. But yeah, the filming in 20 days. So what's even more interesting about that, we said filming in 20 days. 12 of those days were in England. And they were talking about in the article how they literally just like walked up to someone's door, and SarahMEden was with them because she was the screenwriter. And they literally walked up to somebody's door and knocked on it, and they were like, we like your house. We're this little small film group. Can we like use it?
Oh my gosh. That's
And
crazy.
they were like, sounds great. We love the idea. Let's do it.
Wow.
And so a lot of like the exterior shots of like happened in England and the castle, but then not all the castle shots were actually shot in England. They were done on sets they'd built in Utah. So it was really interesting. I thought that was, I like, as a production kind of nerd, I was like, that's really cool. But how crazy to have a 1-year gap. So like they started with the 200,000, built the sets, got it going, and then they had to crowdsource more money to do the England part of it.
That's crazy. I'm really curious how much the actors got paid.
No, I couldn't find that. I'll be honest, it was like kind of hard to find info, but I think they're Blu-ray, because I've seen stuff on Instagram of like where the director's talking. And so I feel like maybe on the Blu-ray they have like a how we did it, but I don't own the Blu-ray and I have no way to watch it, so that was unfortunate.
Yeah, I saw the actor who played Adam and the author did like a couple of podcast episodes and stuff where they asked each other questions. I never listened to any of them, but I know they've definitely talked about some of it, and I just love to see it. So, because none of these are huge actors. Like, these are, like the girl who played Persephone, like she talks about all the time on her Instagram or TikTok doing auditions virtually and filming reels and things like that to send off. I mean, so these are like literal working actors who aren't just, they don't have people just knocking on their door. So I love to see them successful. Feels so good.
So the two main stars are Ryan Bailey as Persephone and Jake Storman, I don't think I said his last name right, as the Duke. What's funny is like, if you watch on Amazon, it will like give you can click on people and see what else they've been in. And he's been in like some modern Beauty and the Beast retelling too, playing the Beast. So I was like,
he has.
I was like, I may have to go watch this just for pure entertainment. But it was initially released March 1st of 2026, independent and digitally. And like we said, now it's available on Angel and Peacock. So it's been picked up. People are seeing
and
the
Passion
trend.
Flix. And Passion Flix.
And I don't know, it's been on my For You page for months on my Instagram. Yeah. Like I just never can get away from a clip of Seeking Persephone. And I think the last thing, we already said that. So what were your thoughts initially watching it? So we've talked about how we liked it, but like just overall story.
I thought it was like a delightful romp in Regency England. I think what I love about this story in particular are the discussions around how society works. Especially because like obviously her family, they were wealthy at some point and then something happened and her dad's kind of a hot mess. And because they live in a nice house, it's just not
It
taken
was
care of.
giving very like the Bennetts,
I
like
was
where
about to
like
say
at
that.
some point there was money, but it like slowly
Yeah.
the estate has dwindled, and like now they're at a point of they can't keep up with the
Yeah.
demands of their estate.
I also really loved like the whole concept of like Adam not liking society and him just
Yeah.
wanting to hide away at his house. And so he was like, just find me a wife, you know? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. I think we talked about on one of the episodes, I did mention how I felt like some of the clothes were ill-fitting, and that bothers me when I watch it because I'm like, can we tighten up those sleeves or something? You know, clearly done on a budget, but I thought for the fact that it was done on a budget, I think it's lovely. And like I said,
Yeah.
I watched it like 4 times the whole the season. And I'm so excited, like, because it ends and you're like, I want more. I want to know what happens, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm excited for the next season very much because I really want to find out what's happening. And huge shout out to the guy that plays Harry because he literally was like my favorite character in that whole show. And I'm really excited for him to get his moment in the next season.
Yeah, so it was funny because I was rewatching it today as I was doing other things and like preparing for our podcast. And he, at the like last episode, he sticks around. So Adam has been alone most of his life, even as like his dad was there, but then his dad passes. His mom's been in and out of his life. He was sent to school, he was bullied, all these things. But Harry has been consistent. They became school friends, and like he's been the consistent person in Adam's life, and his gruffness and his mean demeanor and like tries to push everyone away doesn't work on Harry. Harry's like, huh, that's funny. And like, I'm
Yeah.
right here, bestie. And so Harry's
So
very
funny.
endearing as a character. But he says at some point, like, I'm here to be your conscience. And I was like, oh, he's this Jiminy Cricket. That's why you like him so much.
That's
Like,
why I like him so much because I literally wrote that into my book.
I, I heard him say that today, and I was like, we're gonna have to talk about that. How he is his Jiminy Cricket, and he really is. He helps both of them actually
He
understand one
does.
another better, and he's like very vital to I think the success of their relationship. So, and it's really fun. I'll just say in the next book, it's fun seeing Harry be the one struggling, and like we do still get a lot of Adam and Persephone in the book and their dynamic, but we're definitely not like in their relationship anymore. But we're now seeing it through Harry and Athena, and it's just kind of funny to watch as they've evolved as a couple and are now doing London society. So it's nice. It's very like Bridgerton, but you get more like how you still see the family like the previous couples. I just feel like it's more heavily involved because the Duke has very much taken on being the patriarch of the family, and he's taken responsibilities, provided dowries for all Persephone's sisters, and so he's very much taking the lead of bringing them out into society.
I kind of love that. And that's
Yeah,
interesting
and
to
he like
think
becomes
about.
such a family man. It's like cute. It's like, oh, look at
Yeah,
you.
that's what I'm like thinking to myself. It's interesting thinking about that just because of how standoffish he was and how much. And I remember it was like the wedding night scene, and he's in his library drinking his drink, and Harry comes in and he's like, "This isn't where you're supposed to be." And he's like, "I just had to eat dinner with my insufferable sister-in-laws, you know." And so it's funny to hear you say that in book two. He's like taking care of them. I kind of love that.
I do love his character growth. Like I do think that's why the show is endearing to watch because you do really watch his character growth happening. And you also watch Persephone, right? Because she's also equally as guarded.
Yeah.
Yes, she's like a warrior and a nurturer, but like in the book, I think this is really truly one of the most like accurate book to screen adaptations I've ever seen because like I could watch a scene and like literally read it word for word in the book.
Well, and that is probably because we have the author as the
Yeah.
screenwriter, which
And
I
it's
would
so
just like to say also happens with Black Dagger Brotherhood. Okay. Um,
like, just gonna say it doesn't always happen when you have the author, right? Like because
no, it's true.
we've seen other adaptations where that doesn't happen and the author is involved. So this one is very much like, oh, that was almost exactly, I think due to budget constraints, like I see where they made cuts. So for
Mm.
example, the Duke getting married at the beginning was definitely like Harry asks him why he does it in the show. And he's like, oh, because my solicitor said I should, or his lawyer says I should because, I have a cousin who could inherit. Well, his cousin is stopping by the estate all the time. and
Oh,
is really
really?
annoying and super irksome
Oh,
to
how
him.
funny.
And so like after a particularly irksome visit, his lawyer's like, "You should get married and I have somebody for you." And he's like, "Fine, because I cannot stand this guy. So I want to get him out of my life." And so it's really that was like he's eliminated as a character. The stable are like the man, I guess he's the stableman, like the lead horseman, John, who
Yeah.
like rides with Persephone. He's actually like two characters. It's John and his dad is actually like the head gardener. And he's the one who
Mm.
kind of gives Persephone that backstory of Adam through the analogy of the horse. And that's his dad does that, but I can see why they kind of combined him into one character. Again, if you only have a budget of so many people and you're trying to film in 20 days, there's going to be some merging of characters happening. So those are like the major changes, but they're not even like they're so seamless in how they do it in the show that you don't miss them that much.
Yeah.
It's just like it was nice added fluff in the book, but it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. I think, another thing I think about too is when we talk about this era and arranged marriages, happened all the time. I love that they captured so well how overwhelming it was to come to that house. I just like think
Yeah.
about it all the time. Like, can you imagine getting married to some guy you don't know? And then he's like taking you to his castle. And all of a sudden you're the lady of the house. Like, I don't even
Right.
know what I would do. It's kind of like in Bridgerton when Daphne in the first season goes to the
Mhm.
Duke's house and she's like, I want to get new wallpaper. And the lady's like, no, you don't, you know?
And very different from Daphne, though, is like Daphne wanted it, right? And like Persephone had been washing neighbors' laundries for extra money. So
Right.
she's you're gonna do a Bridgerton like comparison, she's more Sophie. And
Mhm.
that's like doing hard labor and managing the household. And so like maybe a Sophie and Kate combo. Like where because Kate was also kind of serving as like that man of the house and like the
Yeah.
patriarch in addition to being like the oldest sister. And so all of a
Well,
sudden she goes to a castle and her whole job is like
just
entertain
sit there.
yourself.
Yeah. And
Also,
that's,
I hate company. Don't talk to anybody and invite anyone over. And I'm gonna be
right.
gruff and grumpy and by myself in my book room, which
Yeah.
that's me. I would be
Oh my
gruff and grumpy
gosh.
in my book room.
Listen, if there was a book room where I could be gruff and grumpy, let me tell you. Yeah, yeah. And they show that so well because she's like
Mhm.
always wandering around the grounds, kind of aimlessly,
Yeah.
And then she's like, I want to ride a horse. And he's like, no. And then he's like, let me buy you a jacket. And yeah, no, I loved it so much. I thought their relationship was so great. I loved so much the parts of the story where she goes and sleeps with him at night because she's
Yes.
scared.
That
And
is
he's
my
like,
favorite scene
it's
like
so
in the
good.
show. It's so
And
cute
then
because she goes in there and she like talks to him and he's awake, but she doesn't know. And they talk about this in the book. He doesn't view her as brave, and he like wants someone who's going to be brave with him. And then he starts to recognize her bravery in a lot of ways, but he was like very much, I think, in a patriarchal view, kind of looking at bravery. And he's like, oh,
yeah.
she can't even stand these sounds of these. But yet he also wants to protect her from it. But I really love the scene when he comes in angry because she didn't come in.
Yes, and he's like, I can't sleep. He's like, first I couldn't sleep because you were so noisy, and now I can't sleep because I can't hear your noises.
Like a puppy. Like,
Yes. Would have
she's
been
horrified. It's
I would have
like,
been horrified too.
uh, some really cute family lore. So my great grandparents on my mom's side, my daddy boy and my grandmommy, they had a love story of the ages, like very romance spoiled me in terms of like views of romantic couples. But I remember one time spending the night at their house when I was little and my daddy boy telling me how my grandmommy made noises like a puppy when she slept. She like do little whimpers and things and he was making poking fun at her, but it was also so loving. And so I think every time I watch that too, I also have this great memory recall of my daddy boy telling me about my grandmommy making little noises like a puppy and wrestling around in the sheets.
So cute. I don't
Wasn't
think I
it?
sleep cute. I don't know that I
I
sleep
do
cute.
not. I snore. There's
I
no
think I
cute
snore
happening.
too. I think I snore too. I'm like, am I cute when I'm asleep? I don't think that's possible.
I'm allergic to the world. I snore. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So tell me this. In the show, when her sisters are leaving after the wedding, because they do stay the
Mhm.
night in the castle,
They
right?
do, yeah, but he doesn't let them stay longer. And I think that is something
Right.
that it's talked about in like the book a little more is like Harry kind of reprimands him. He's like, you could have let them stay for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah, like you didn't have to kick him out the day after. She promises the littlest one is Artemis, right?
Mhm.
She promises Artemis that she can come back and visit and they will go on adventures in the castle. Does that ever happen in the book?
It does because at the end of the show, they promise, that they're gonna go. He makes the promise like you can come to the castle and you can come explore at Christmas. So at the start of
Yes.
the second book, you've learned they've been coming to the castle. They did the whole Christmas thing there.
Mm.
She got to come explore and they had great adventures. And Daphne and who has like mentioned she feels very alone. Like nobody looks out for
Yes.
her, nobody asks about her. She's very middle child, quiet,
Yes.
very like Mary Bennett-esque, it seems like.
Mhm.
Her and Adam have formed like a really great bond, and like she'll just go sit in his office with him while he works and reads, and like they talk, and it's super cute. They're like
Oh, that's
a
adorable.
bonded pair. So I really want to get to her book because I'm so curious of like when she starts to like find romance, how his protective nature kicks in as
Yeah,
he's
does
like,
he like try to
I
father
don't know.
her?
So anyway,
Interesting.
that's why I'm trying to get through the second book so I can jump to the third. It's one of those books I haven't like dedicated a lot of like I have so many other reads that when I'm like, oh, I have time and I don't feel like reading my other book, I'll go back to this one and keep reading. And so it is one of
Yeah.
those books you can like put down, pick up, and like you're like, oh yeah, I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So when it's
Yeah.
not so complicated in the story that you're lost.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I'm really excited to see more from these characters. I loved, the thing that I struggle with a lot with books and adaptations as well is connecting to the characters. I want to feel a connection, and I really loved all of them. I think they did such a beautiful job in the show of setting up the family. I want to know what
Mhm.
happens to all of them. I saw Harry look at Athena the way he looked at Athena. So I'm very excited that we get season 2
Yeah. The only
with
thing I
them.
hope with a new budget is, I'll be honest, this when you talk about the ill-fitting costumes, it's Athena's hair. Every time she's on screen, I'm like, bless, that's a bad wig.
Yeah, Athena's hair, and I just like Adam's suits were not tailored
They didn't fit
correctly.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah, especially him, like they would show him like sitting and his stockings would be wrinkled and his like jacket with like the shoulder would be hanging off. And
Yeah.
I just felt like they need a better seamstress or a better
And I
alter or
also wonder,
something.
like, to take a year in between filming, like, if he was doing
That's
any other
true.
roles, his physique, like, like, physically could have changed, and, like, that also might have thrown off the costuming a bit for all of them, because that's
His
a big
shoes were
gap.
not, yeah, his shoes were not accurate.
Yeah. No, there were certain things like that that just made me go, "Ugh." Like,
I know.
so that these are the hopes. We move on. I would love to see some more production put in because you did that with like a crowdfunded thing in 20 days. Bravo. I would love to
Yeah.
see what you can do with a little bit more because I think you could take it even further.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I would love to see, yeah, better costumes. I'm curious about the sets now
Mhm.
that we've said that there were some built in Utah and then some. So, like, there's this scene where she arrives at the house and she walks in, and I just think that room is so hideous. That first room that she walks in. I always, like, every time I
With the
see it, I'm
blue
like,
on the like the blue stairs. Are you talking about the stairs? Which
yeah,
one?
and it was like
Are
red
like,
with like deer
oh,
and
yeah.
guns,
Yeah.
which I think made sense for the character, but the colors just were off for some reason. The way they were filming it, it like visually bothers me every time I watch it. I'm gonna have to look at it
Yeah.
again and see what it is because I was like, which house is this in England? Because we need to
You
talk.
Well, it reminds me of in Downton Abbey when like Edith gets married and they go to like his castle, right? And like it's all hunting like in the
Yes.
beginning. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that's the vibe I was
Yes.
getting. Like very bachelor hunters lodge. Like we are
Well, I guess
rustic
that makes
people.
sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense for where he is located because his castle is supposed to be in northern England near the Scottish
Yeah.
border. Yes. So
Yes. In the
that
middle
would
of the
have been,
forest. Like, so
yeah,
feel, yeah.
it would have been very hunting lodge,
Yeah.
chic. Speaking of hunting and very northern, I will say I was impressed with the wolf scenes, but not disappointed.
Okay, we're talking about crowdfunding. Okay.
Those were
The wolf.
some AI. No, they weren't AI generated. They were
They
like,
were just CGI, just computer.
yeah, but like by my daughter. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it was just very
Low rendering, very
low
much
rendering.
wolf must. Yeah, no, that's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
And like the whole like okay, that scene's better in the book for sure. Like it's
Is
better
it?
in the book. Yeah. And it's all done from Adam's perspective, which makes it probably better too.
Do you
And
die of wolf bites in Regency, England?
you would if like it mauled you.
It didn't maul her though.
Oh yeah, and she never actually had any wolf injuries. She'd been thrown from the horse and like had cut her leg severely being
Oh,
thrown.
okay. See, that shows you how well that shows you how well I watched that episode because I think about that. I think about that scene. I
They,
go,
they
what
don't
is on my
explain
phone?
it. They don't explain it. And like I guess that's the only thing too where you notice. So she has her Abigail, which is like her lady's maid, right? Who takes care of her, is also again that character John and Jeb, who like John is the main horse guy in the show. Her Abigail is like his cousin and or sister. And so they're all related. Like this you see this family is serving
Yeah.
Adam's family. And so it's actually kind of sweet because like Adam does all the caretaking like they show in the show. He does all that. And all
Okay.
the Abigails and ladies maids are like, oh, like you're being so tender and like, oh, it would just like there's like a line in the book where he's like, and they're all giving me like emoting eyes of like sympathy like and it really bothers him, but he's also like, I gotta take care of Persephone. He's like an immediate protector caretaker mode, and it's like cute. They're
I
all
love it.
and even one of them compliments him on how well he takes care of her and how sweet it is, and he's like, don't tell anyone.
Right. I love that. I love that.
So we don't get that in the show, but I think they also like did a good job of like just really cutting to what it was, but it was very, very good. So yeah, I mean, overall, I like it a lot. I'm a huge Beauty and the Beast fan.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, a guy with a
So
library and
listen, I like a grumpy sunshine trope, which this is arguably that. I'm a sucker for those darlings. She is so sweet, and it just like cracks open his heart of gold. Just gets me
yeah.
every time. So I like this alone just sold me on that. I was like, okay, fine,
Yeah.
I like it.
I loved it. I mean, like I said, I approached it knowing what it was and knowing about the crowdfunding and everything. And I thought it was really great. So I'm super
Yeah,
excited for season 2 and season 3. Aren't we? So lucky.
we are
So
really lucky when we're sitting here hoping for more. The other Bennett sister, and we're only getting 3 more episodes.
listen, don't take my Christmas special away from me. I'm
I'm
so
not
excited.
taking your Christmas special, but I will say there's a whole Christmas book on this list. So we could have a whole Christmas special of all of them,
Oh my gosh,
which
I saw that. I know, I saw
bring
that.
it.
I know, which makes me go, should I write a Christmas book? Anyways, I know,
I have
right?
a Christmas book to recommend to you if oh, that goes along with Dead Romantics if you're wanting to do a Christmas
Yes,
novel. That also
always.
feels very Christmas Carol. Okay, great. I'm waiting for
Yes.
this one to be adapted into a Hallmark movie.
I read
Maybe we should write the screenplay.
let's do it. I read
Okay, great.
a Christmas novel last year. I picked one up at the store because I was like, I need something on theme, and it was terrible. So,
Welcome to
open to suggestions.
Okay, great. Whoops, as I crash things. Mine is not this book, but it's the same author. It's B.K. Borson.
Oh yeah,
She wrote a is it called In Good
yes,
Spirits or something like that? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I've seen it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Talk
I'll put
about a
that on my
grumpy
list.
sunshine trope.
I still haven't read First Time Caller. I'm trying to get it from the library. That's where I'm at with that one. So,
Well, I could just like send you my copy, which is
no,
it's also being adapted.
I
So
know.
I'm excited about that.
We were talking earlier about authors helping do the screenplay. And didn't you send me a post the other day about Emily Henry is writing the screenplay for one of her adaptations?
She's doing the one for, oh my gosh, Happy Place.
Well, thank God, because we were worried about that, remember? So
She also
hopefully,
is doing Funny Story.
is she really?
Mm-hmm.
I think Beach Read wrapped up shooting, didn't they?
It did. And what was so interesting about the Beach Read one is the director also wrote the screenplay.
Oh,
And she
okay.
worked in close collaboration with Emily Henry. And she feels very much like, because she was with it from the writing of it to the directing of it, like it's going to be a really good adaptation.
Well, cool. Well, I'm excited.
I'm
Well,
excited and nervous about that one. I won't lie, because I really like
I
that
know.
story.
I know. I'm nervous about all the Emily Henry ones, to be honest. But yeah. Well, so we will be this podcast episode, if you're listening to it on an app, will also be housed on our Substack. And so we would love, 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 love for you to come over there and comment and let us know what you thought of Seeking Persephone. And highly recommend watching it if you have not, especially if you love like the Regency stuff, like the other Bennett sister we loved. This, I feel like, is just right up your alley if you were into that. So definitely go watch it. Let us know what you think. Anything else?
Oh, I think you wrapped it up beautifully. So I'm just going to finish the rest of my tea and maybe rewatch an episode. I don't know.
Hey, ambitious readers, before you go, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Bookish Ambitions Podcast. And if you haven't joined our Substack, what are you waiting for? Jump on over. It's where we have our book club and our bonus after the podcast episodes. So be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast. Be sure to share, like, and review, and we'll be back next week with another episode.